So, in this video, we will discuss expansion and decline of Marathas, right. So, the heading would be expansion and decline of Marathas in the context of modern India, expansion and decline of Marathas. How they were also defeated by the British, right? How they came under British rule. This we have to discuss. See, when we prepare Maratha, we prepare Maratha some part of it, right, in medieval period, right. During Mughal period, as you all know, that Shivaji, right, and then after Shivaji, as you all know, that Sambhaji, right, and after Sambhaji, right, Rajaram, right, and Rajaram's death, right, Rajaram's death, and then you will see Tarabai, and right, as you all know that Sambhaji was, right, he was killed by Aurangzeb, Sambhaji, in 1689, and his son Sahu was captured by Aurangzeb, right. Sahu was captured, and after the death of Aurangzeb, this Sahu was also released, and Tarabai was also claiming. There was a fight between Sahu and Tarabai. We can call it civil war, and because of this there was decline of Marathas, weakening of Marathas, and it was again revived by Peshwas, their prime minister, Peshwa. So, this part, right, this story we are, right, taking in medieval India. Just I wanted to connect. So, when we say who is the founder of Marathas? Shivaji. And Shivaji was not only known for foundation of the Maratha Empire, he was also known for a great administration, right, under Ashtapradhan. After Shivaji, Sambhaji, right, and Sambhaji and his friend Kavi Kalas was killed by Aurangzeb, and that was probably the biggest mistake of Aurangzeb, and he captured his son Sahu. Is it okay? So, what you can remember? As you all know that in modern India, just try to understand, in modern India you have to discuss Maratha after 707, after Aurangzeb. Fine, after Aurangzeb you have to discuss. But before Aurangzeb, you can say before the death of Aurangzeb, what happened? I just want to connect. What happened? Shivaji was a founder. After that Sambhaji, he was killed. After that Rajaram, and after 1700 Tarabai started ruling. And then when Sahu, who was captured, was released after death of Aurangzeb, there was a fight for throne between Tarabai's camp and Sahu, which led to civil war, and it weakened Marathas, and it provided an opportunity for, right, Peshwa. Fine. So, when you prepare Maratha, just try to understand first. When we prepare Maratha in modern India after 1707, what we are preparing? We are preparing the condition after 1707, and there was rise of Peshwa. It is fine. Peshwa was one of the prime minister, very important member of Ashtapradhan, rise of Peshwa. Who continued as the chief? Sahu. Sahu continued, and Sahu continued till 1749. So there was rise of Peshwa, and there were three important Peshwas. There were three important Peshwa, right? You know about these three Peshwas, three important Peshwas. They became the functional head: Balaji Biswanath, Bajirao I, and Balaji Bajirao. Balaji Viswanath, and then right Bajirao I, and after that right Balaji Bajirao, Balaji Bajirao, right. So you will see three Peshwas, and most important was Bajirao I, and after this there was third battle of Panipat, and it was a disaster for Marathas. Fine. See, part 1 of the story of Maratha is from Shivaji till Tarabai. This is the part of medieval India. Then part 2 of the story of Maratha is right from Sahu onward, and under Sahu you will see Peshwa, rise of Peshwa, and three Peshwa I said: Balaji Viswanath, then Bajirao, right Bajirao, and then Balaji Bajirao. So three Peshwa, and then there was a very important event, 1761, third battle of Panipat. It was a disaster, and after the disaster again revival of the Marathas, a revival of Marathas after right third battle of Panipat. But British interference, British entry into Maratha politics started, and this led to three Anglo-Maratha war, right. It started in 1775 and it ended in 1818, and by 1818 Marathas came under the British rule, British control. Fine. Is this fine? Right. So when you prepare Maratha, it's a very big topic, and for modern India, this area you have to cover for modern India, this area. And this area we are dividing into two parts: a background till 1761, and then entry, British entry. This is more important for us for modern India. British entry, and the British entry into the politics of Maratha led to what? Three Anglo-Maratha war. What I said, first Anglo-Maratha war, when? First Anglo-Maratha war from 1775 right till 1782. Second Anglo-Maratha war right from 1803 to 1805, and the third Anglo-Maratha war from 1817 to 1818. Is this fine? So I said three Anglo-Maratha war. First Anglo-Maratha war 1775 till 1782. Second Anglo-Maratha war from 1803, you can say till 1805. Then the third Anglo-Maratha war from 1817 to 1818, and this was the end of Maratha, end. So in modern India, you have to discuss the development, right, development from 1707 onward till 1761. Why 1761 is important? Third battle of Panipat, and before 1707, right, from Shivaji till 1707 we are doing it in medieval period, and modern India is from this area, modern India, modern history of Marathas, modern history of Marathas from 1707. How? I said just after the death of Aurangzeb, Sahu was released. When Sahu was released, it led to civil war between Tarabai and Sahu, and this civil war made Peshwa very powerful. Now Peshwa became powerful, and we talked about 3 Peshwas, right? And after these 3 Peshwa, this was the real good period, rise of Marathas. This is a very important period, very important period. But one event changed everything. What was that event? Third Battle of Panipat, and that was a disaster for Marathas. Marathas became weak. Now they became weak. There was revival, no doubt about it, but they became weak. And who took advantage of this weakness? British. So British entry, and there were 3 Anglo-Maratha war, 1775 to 1782, 1803 to 1805, and then 1817 to 1818. And finally, right, the Marathas came under British rule. See, this is the summary, and you have to understand this summary first, and then we can expand it, we can elaborate it, we can add many dimensions. Fine. And after that you have to practice, right? After that you have to, right, see all those questions, and through the question also you will get some new dimension. Fine, I hope it is okay, right? So we are going to start the topic expansion and decline. So you will see after 1707 there was expansion. And who played important role in the expansion of the Marathas? Peshwa, great Peshwa, Balaji Biswanath, Bajirao, great Peshwas. They played important role in expansion. But third Battle of Panipat was a game changer. Before this third Battle of Panipat, they were very strong. They were probably the successor of Mughal. But after third Battle of Panipat, right, they lost their claim. They lost their claim. So always remember, third Battle of Panipat is very important. It was a disaster for Marathas as they lost the cream of their army. Their ambition of replacing the Mughals, right, disappeared, right. Then there was an opportunity after third Battle of Panipat for the British to expand, right. Why? Because Marathas, they became weak. So this third Battle of Panipat disintegrated Maratha Confederacy, and all those prominent Maratha Sardar started ruling independently, and this weakness, this disintegration of Marathas benefited British, and it played important role in consolidation of the British Empire. Fine. So we are going to discuss Marathas. I divided Maratha topic into 3 parts. Part 1 is the part of medieval period, Shivaji, Sambhaji, Rajaram. It's a part of medieval period. Then Tarabai onward, right, 1707 onward, when Sahu was released, civil war started, and this is the story of modern India. And when third Battle of Panipat, I mentioned the significance of third Battle of Panipat. What I highlighted, I told you that the third Battle of Panipat did not help Afghans, did not help Abdalis. It actually benefited British Empire. And after third battle of Panipat, they started expanding. They started consolidating. Fine. So third battle of Panipat was a game changer. Marathas claim that they will be replacing Mughal, now it disappeared. Right, it was meaningless. This kind of claim was meaningless after 1761. They regained strength, no doubt about it. We are not saying that they lost everything. After third battle of Panipat, they again regained strength. They had some capable rulers, capable leaders. Mahadji Sindhya or Nana Fadnavis, right, or Madhav Rao, they all were very capable men, but fighting, confederacy, aims, different aims. And who benefited? British. And there were three Anglo-Maratha war, 1775 to 1782, first Anglo-Maratha war, 1803 to 1805, second Anglo-Maratha war, and 1817 to 1818, third Anglo-Maratha war. Right. So by 1818, this area came under British control and Marathas were pensioned off. I deliberately tried to give you this general idea because this topic for a fresher would be complicated, right. We need to appreciate those development, but first a general approach is required. Fine. Now, so we are starting with the development, right, of Marathas and how their expansion and then how their decline. So we can add first point that Marathas offered the most formidable, challenge. They offered the most formidable challenge to the English East India Company. Most formidable challenge to the East, right, India Company in the struggle for political supremacy in India. And you know this, that who founded this Maratha kingdom, right? Shivaji. Shivaji was the founder of this Maratha kingdom, and after Shivaji, right, you can mention, otherwise you will forget that after Shivaji, right, Sambhaji became the ruler. After Shivaji, Sambhaji became the ruler and he was killed, and his son Sahu was captured, After Sambhaji, Raja Ram became the ruler, right? But after the death of Raja Ram, as his son was a minor, Shivaji too, so Tarabai started administering. Just I wanted to mention these names, right? So Shivaji, Sambhaji, Rajaram and Tarabai. Now come to the real issue now after 1707. So we can add next point. After the death of Aurangzeb, Shivaji's grandson Sahu was released. I hope now you understand who is Sahu. Sahu was released. Right, from captivity. Sahu was released from captivity, and this led to a civil war This led to a civil war between two rival camps, Tarabai and Sahu, right, Tarabai and Sahu. And this civil war, which started after the death of Aurangzeb, this civil war, what was the result of this civil war? This civil war allowed the Peshwa, to become the real head of the Maratha Empire. Peshwa to become the real head of the Maratha Empire, real head. Fine. So, after you can say Aurangzeb, after death of Aurangzeb, civil war, and now Sahu versus Tarabai, and finally, right, what was the result of it? Sahu, right, started ruling. There were two different areas, two different camps, and Peshwa now became the real head now. So, first important Peshwa, who was really powerful, and under him only Sahu could gain control over administration. So, first important Peshwa, this name you have to remember, Balaji Vishwanath. Balaji Vishwanath. First Peshwa was Balaji Vishwanath, right, Balaji Vishwanath. And Balaji Vishwanath, always remember, very capable man, and the most important achievement of this Balaji Vishwanath was his pact with Sayyad brothers, I hope you remember Sayyad brothers. We mentioned Sayyad brothers, right, in decline of Mughal. So, Balaji Vishwanath signed a pact with Sayyad brother, and Marathas were allowed to collect what you call Chauth and Sardes Mukhi. Chauth 25%, right, of produce, and Sardes Mukhi. There are different, right, interpretation about the nature of these taxes, but they were allowed, right, to collect it from those Mughal provinces in Deccan. So, that was a great achievement. So, always remember, Balaji Vishwanath consolidated his power in South India, Balaji Vishwanath, right. So, revival of Maratha, you can see Maratha became a great power under Shivaji, but after the death of Aurangzeb, they got an opportunity for revival, and it was because of this Peshwa under Sahu, Balaji Vishwanath, who revived Marathas. So, Balaji Vishwanath. But the real hero was not Balaji Vishwanath. Real hero was the second Peshwa in this period, Baji Rao, right, Baji Rao I. Biggest name, right, biggest name, Baji Rao I. Biggest name, and you must remember his period also, 1720 to 1740. This name would be very important for you, Baji Rao first, right. He was the greatest, fighter, greatest exponent of the guerrilla warfare after Shivaji, right. So, Baji Rao first is compared with Shivaji, right. So, what he did? He followed what kind of policy? Expansionist policy of expansion. So, we can mention that Baji Rao first was known for his expansion, northward expansion. Baji Rao first was known for his policy of expansion, right. He even started dominating Mughals, right. He started dominating Mughals, Baji Rao first. He used to make a statement, let us strike at the trunk of the withering tree and the branches will fall off themselves, right. So, this man started attacking, right, that so called withering tree. So, he started dominating, right, he started dominating in Delhi, he defeated Nizam, right. So, he started expanding. So, he was the greatest, you can say, the ruler Peshwa Baji Rao, first known for, right, what you call Hindu, right, Padsahi, or the policy of northern expansion. Then you can also mention that during this period Baji Rao first, there was a confederacy, there was a confederacy of the prominent Maratha chiefs. There was a confederacy of prominent Maratha chief, right. Why this confederacy during this period? Probably to manage the rapidly expanding Maratha power. So, confederacy was established during this period, it is said, and the Maratha families, right, Maratha families which emerged, right, prominent during this period were number one, right, first the Gayakwad of Baroda, they emerged, right, these families emerged, the Gayakwad of Baroda, then the Bhosle of Nagpur, right, Bhosle of Nagpur. They can give you this kind of matching test question, right, the Gayakwad of Baroda, the Bhosle of Nagpur. Number three families, the Holkars of Indore, then the Sindhyas of Gwalior, and of course Peshwa family from Pune, right. So, these families, the Gayakwad, the Bhosle, the Holkars, the Sindhyas, and, right, the Peshwa family. So, during this period you will see, right, this kind of development. So, Baji Rao, always remember, greatest ruler, most important ruler, expansionist. He talked about Hindu Padsahi ideas, right. So, during this period they became the real threat, they became the real Clement, right. But after Baji Rao, first you will see the third Peshwa was Balaji, right, Baji Rao, right, Baji Rao, Nana Sahib, right, Balaji Baji Rao. And in this period, Balaji Baji Rao's period, Sahu died in 1749, and right, even that symbolic presence of Sahu was not there during this period after 1749, right. And this Balaji Baji Rao was known for, you can say, continuing that forward policy. He was known for continuing that forward policy of his father, Balaji Baji Rao, right. So, Balaji Baji Rao also expanded, also continued his policy, right, his the policy of his father, what you call forward policy, Balaji Baji Rao. And what you should always remember, that during his Peshwaship, during his Peshwaship, right, you will see the Marathas reached, right, as far as Bihar and Odisha, and Bihar and Odisha in the east, and Punjab in the north. This is important. Punjab in the north. So, can you see a trend here? Under these Peshwa, gradually they started expanding. Now under Balaji Bajirao, right, they started looking towards Delhi and Punjab. Now their ambition was to control Delhi and Punjab. And therefore, who was controlling Punjab that time? That Afghan invader, Ahmad Shah Abdali. So, Peshwa or the Marathas, they were also interested in Delhi and Punjab. Ahmad Shah Abdali, they are also interested in Delhi and Punjab. So, there would be a conflict between Abdali and Peshwa or not? Yes. So, therefore, this ambition, this expansionist policy and the ambition of Abdali led to what? War, which is called Third Battle of Panipat. So, now because of this ambition or the clash of ambition, war became inevitable. So, we can add that because of this ambition in Punjab and Delhi, a war, right, between the Marathas, and Abdali, became inevitable, and this is called Third Battle of Panipat. So, why this Third Battle of Panipat? 1761. Why this Third Battle of Panipat? Clash of ambition between the Marathas and, right, Abdali, Afghans, right. And this Third Battle of Panipat, I already mentioned, is very significant, very important for our Indian history. Why? It decided that Marathas would not be succeeding Mughals, and probably British, they would be more powerful or more successful, right. So, Third Battle of Panipat is very important for us, right. So, 1761, January 1761, right. So, this battle benefited British rather than Abdali, rather than Afghans. This is the core area, this is the, you can say, the basic idea. Now, after this Third Battle of Panipat, right, after Third Battle of Panipat, what happened after Third Battle of Panipat? 1761 January, right. I told you that it was a disaster, for the British, but after this Third Battle of Panipat, a young Peshwa, right, you can say young Peshwa called Madhav Rao, right, started reviving, a young 17-year-old boy, he started reviving the fortunes, reviving the, or reorganizing the, strengthening the Marathas. This man, Madhav Rao, he was very strong, right, he defeated Nizam, Rajputs, Mysore, Jats, right, he even terrorized Mughals. So, this man started revising, but his death, and after his death, you will see, right, the weak successor like Narayan Rao, weak successor like Madhav Rao too, and this kind of, right, weak successor and politics, factionalism in the Maratha court gave opportunity to the British, right. So, what happened after this? After this, there was interference of the English into Maratha politics. So, we can give heading now. that interference of the English, right, interference of the English into Maratha politics. English interference into Maratha politics. When it started in late 1760s, or you can say 1770s, English interference in the Maratha politics, right? You will remember it. After 1761, again there was a revival, but weak polity, factionalism, ambitious leaders, and you will see that British interference in the Maratha politics. Now, you just try to think why this British interference. If they ask you why English interference in the Maratha politics, what would be your answer? Why English interference in the Maratha politics in 1770s? Right? There are two factors. Number one factor you can think of, right, was inordinate ambition, inordinate ambition of the English. Why their interference? You know the background. They wanted to expand, right? By that time they had already controlled Bengal. They had already defeated French, right, in the Carnatic War. So they wanted to expand, they wanted to consolidate, right? So inordinate ambition of the English, and therefore they were also seeking an opportunity. Then B, second factor why they wanted to interference was right, the divided house of the Marathas. 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 Is it okay? So why British interference? English, their position was now different, and now they were very ambitious. And why they wanted to interfere? Right, you can see that I told you, divided house of the Marathas. Because of these two factors, they wanted to interfere. And what was the result of this interference? What was the result of this interference? Result of this interference was, right, 3 Anglo-Maratha war. So this result of this interference was Anglo-Maratha war. 3 Anglo-Maratha war. Right, right, 3 Anglo-Maratha war. First, we will take up first Anglo-Maratha war. First Anglo-Maratha war. What is the year? First Anglo-Maratha war from 1775 till 1782. First Anglo-Maratha war. Right? Why this first Anglo-Maratha war? Right? Why this first Anglo-Maratha war? What was the cause of this first Anglo-Maratha war? Just try to understand. Right. So when this first Anglo-Maratha war from 1775 till 1782. right? So what was the reason for this first Anglo-Maratha war? We can add that after the death of Madhav Rao, you know Madhav Rao, very capable man. After the death of Madhav Rao in 1772, right, after death of Madhav Rao, his, you can say, brother, his brother Narayan Rao, after death of Madhav Rao, his brother Narayan Rao, right, became the next Peshwa, Narayan Rao, right. But this Narayan Rao was murdered after 1 year. This Narayan Rao was murdered after 1 year. Who murdered him? Probably his uncle Raghunath Rao. His uncle Raghunath Rao. Right. So his uncle was very ambitious and, right, he killed him. And after this Narayan Rao, Raghunath Rao wanted to become the ruler, right? This man, always remember this man, he is the real villain, Raghunath Rao. He wanted to become the ruler, Raghunath Rao. But, we can add, but Narayan Rao's widow gave birth to son, right? And his name was Madhav Rao too. Madhav Rao too, right? And this newborn baby infant was, legally considered as the next Peshwa, Madhav Rao too, son of Narayan Rao. Who would not be happy? Now you tell me, who would not be happy? Raghunath Rao, this man, he was not happy. He wanted to capture, but what they did to protect this, right, baby Madhav Rao too, who was legally the next Peshwa, to protect it, there was a council. What is called Bara Bhai Council. So we can add that a Bara Bhai Council. What is Bara Bhai Council? 12 Maratha chiefs. A Bara Bhai Council, 12 Maratha chiefs, led by, who was leading this Bara Bhai? Do you know the name of that man, great man? Nana Fadnavis. So, now the Bara Bhai Council, or the 12 Maratha chiefs led by Nana Fadnavis, started protecting him. Started protecting Madhav Rao too, right? And now you are getting, this man Raghunath Rao was not happy with this kind of Bara Bhai Council. Why not happy? Because this man Nana Fadnavis was not allowing him to capture throne. So there was a fight between this camp and this camp. Can you understand it? Right? Simple. I am not trying to make it complex. Simple. So Raghunath Rao and Nana Fadnavis, there are two camps, and between these two camps you will see fight started. Raghunath Rao realized that, right, it is not possible for him to, right, get the support of any Maratha chief. So what he did, he solicited English help, right. So Raghunath Rao, now this man would be very dangerous. Raghunath Rao sought help from the English. He sought help from the English he sought help from the English. He sought help from the English and right, and he signed right with the Bombay governor a treaty called Treaty of Surat, 1775, Treaty of Surat, right, Treaty of Surat. Right? Will you remember Treaty of Surat? What we are discussing? First Anglo-Maratha War. Who is, trying to involve English? Raghunath Rao. What he is doing? He is frustrated. Nana Fadnavis is not allowing him to capture the throne, and because of that, he solicited English help, and he signed a treaty with Bombay governor. This is important, right? And this treaty is called Treaty of Surat. But there was a difference between right Bombay governor and the Calcutta governor general, and because of that Calcutta was not ready to accept this treaty, right. So we can add right that under this treaty of Surat, Raghunath Rao ceded the territories, some territories like Salsette and Basin. Raghunath Rao was ready to ceded some territories like Salsette and Basin to the English, along with a portion of revenue, from Surat and some other districts.